Hello everyone, today I'm here to do a book review. I haven't done one of these in forever, I feel like, because I just haven't been reading, but I feel like my reading streak is back on, so that's good news. Anyway, the book I will be reviewing today is Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen. This just literally came out, and I was so fortunate in the fact that Penguin sent me a review copy, and it's hardback, and it's beautiful, and yeah. If you guys don't know, I love Sarah Dessen. She's probably my favorite contemporary author of all time. I've read every single one of her books, probably more than once. I started a Sarah Dessen book club a couple years back and had to leave it, but maybe I'll go back to it one day, and I just love Sarah Dessen books. The reason why is because they're light books, but they always kind of have like a lifelong lesson in them. Like, the main character is usually a female, and there is some sort of love in it, but a lot of her books, the love isn't primarily the focus, but it's more about learning about themselves, you know, learning a lesson and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to say I adored this book. It's definitely one of my favorite Sarah Dessen books by far, which I was so excited to read it, but I was kind of worried because her last book, The Moon and More, I liked, but I didn't really love it. But so I just ate this one up. Like, I gobbled it whole, and I never want to let it go because it is awesome. Anyway, let's get on to the book. I'm going to read you the book flap, and we're going to get on to the review. She has always felt invisible. She's grown accustomed to her brother Peyton being the focus of the family's attention and lately concern. Peyton is handsome and charismatic, but seems bent on self-destruction. Now, after a drunk driving accident that crippled a boy, Peyton's serving some serious jail time, and Sydney is on her own, questioning her place in the family and in the world. Then she meets the Chatham family? I hope I said that right. Drawn into their warm, chaotic circle, Sydney experiences unquestioning acceptance for the first time. There's effervescent Layla, who constantly falls for the wrong guy, Rosie, who's had her own fall from grace, and Miss Chatham, even though is ailing, is the heart of the family. But it's with the older brother, Mac, quiet, watchful, and protective, that Sydney feels really seen at last. So the first part of this review is going to be spoiler free, then I will get into some spoilers. So yeah, overall, like I said, I love this book. It's about Sydney. Now, Sydney is going through a rough patch of her life. Like it said in the book, her brother Peyton was struggling with up and downs. Like, Peyton's the type of guy that will walk into a party and absolutely everybody looks at him. He lights up the room. He's charismatic. Everybody likes him. Everybody wants to be him. But Peyton kind of falls into some bad things like drugs or pills and alcohol and stuff. And he eventually gets better. But then one night he kind of relapses and he goes home. But he's driving drunk and he hits a boy that's riding a bike and he cripples him. So he gets sent to jail. Now, with that, Sydney kind of goes invisible. She's always felt invisible, and then Peyton going to jail really increased it more for her, and that's because her family really focuses her attention to Peyton. Now, when I say her family, I mainly say her mother. Her mother really put all of her time, all of her care, all of her attention to Peyton. You know, she wanted to make sure jail was okay for him. She wanted to visit him as much as she could. She was very nice to him, which I was like, this is weird. Like, I mean, he did something, I get that he's, you know, your son and stuff, but he did something bad and he needs to learn his lesson in prison. But she was just really like seeing it more of like he went away for college almost more than he went away for jail. So because of that, Sydney got really invisible. You know, and her dad really didn't say much, and he really never did in the whole book, honestly, but Sydney just kind of felt away. And so eventually what happens is Sydney goes to a public school and she meets Layla and all these people, and she has a new group of friends. She meets Layla, and Layla is part of family, like I said in the book, but her family owns this pizza place, which this book just makes me want to go there and like work there and live there. And the family's just awesome. There's Layla, who I loved. Layla was such a great character. She got fallen for the wrong guy, and she was just still so nice and warm. And then there was Rosie, who's had some problems similar to kind of Peyton, but she's getting back on track. But she's still kind of cold, but she's opening up more. And then there's the mom, I forget her name, we'll just call her Miss Chatham, and she was just amazing. She was diagnosed with MS, she has been for a while. And even though she's ailing, she's just so nice, and she took time to talk to Sydney, she took time to listen to her, to try to understand her, to try to offer her advice. And then there's Mac, that's the brother of the family, and I loved him. Mac was just, he's one of my favorite guys from all of Sarah Dessen's books. He really reminds me of the guy Wesley, I think, in The Truth About Forever from Sarah Dessen, as in he's watchful and quiet and just kind of deep. And Mac was just, I loved Mac. I loved the relationship between Sydney and Mac. between Sydney and Mac. I'm probably not spoiling them. I know that they eventually get together because it's a Sarah Dessen book, but I like how she usually takes her time with the relationship. She more focuses on the characters, more so the relationship. And in this book, I feel like this whole book was about Sydney trying to become less invisible, to let everyone around her know that she's there and she's, you know, has a purpose and all this kind of stuff. She wants people to know she's there, that she wants to come out from being invisible. And Mac really helped her with that. He helped, you know, for her to see who she was, and Layla helped with it. The whole family really helped her, and she just got amazing friends from that school. Like, there was a band that they were all in, and it was just really, really awesome. I loved all the side characters. I forget that one guy's Eric, I think, and there was Irv, I think. I loved them both. They were awesome. But I really loved this book. It was just a really good book for learning to come out of your shell, to finally speak what you have been feeling for so long. You know, a lot of us keep our feelings deep inside, me especially, and sometimes it's good just to let it go, even though it might hurt people around us, but you need to, like, speak what you feel. And for Sydney, you know, she's been struggling because her mom doesn't see that Peyton has done something horrible, as in, like, cripple that boy, and she doesn't even mention it at all. And, you know, Miss Chatham helps with that, and Sydney feels like she's carrying all the guilt for that because her family's really not doing anything, so she's feeling all the guilt from hurting that boy, and that she didn't do it, but she feels like she has to take on her brother's guilt. So yeah, I'm going to keep that really short. I would say definitely read this. This is a great summary read. Well, not summary. It's not really beachy or anything. I feel like you can read this any time of the year, but overall, I loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Sarah Dessen does not disappoint me. There have been a couple books that I read by her that I haven't really loved, but overall, I love all her books. Yeah, pick it up for sure. If you're looking for a contemporary book where life lesson but still kind of sweet and nice, Say Anything is amazing. So yeah, that's the spoiler-free. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit briefly about the spoilers. First things first, I want to talk about that guy Ames. Ames was Peyton's friend. He met him in rehab and all that kind of stuff, and Ames just kind of fell into Sydney's family. Like, her mom confided in Ames a lot because he had been where Peyton was and all this kind of stuff, and Ames was just downright creepy, which is beyond me that the parents didn't see that at all. Like, they would go out of town and they would like, Ames is gonna stay the night with you, with a 16-year-old girl, and he's like 20, and I'm like, that's weird. I would never do that. That's just really odd. And just, I kept waiting for things to happen and build up with that. Like, I'm like, this is going to reach a point and it's going to be bad. And it did, and I love the way it was handled with her father. I thought that was great. He finally stepped up and did something about it. The whole book, he was kind of just like, yeah, I won't do this, I won't do that. And I was like, dude, come on, do something. That's your daughter. So I'm glad that he was out of the picture, but creepy. What else? Mac, I loved the way Mac and Sydney's relationship developed. It was slow. It became like a friendship, and then it developed into something more, and it was really sweet, and they just said a lot of sweet things to them. And I like at the end of the book, they were just together. They really didn't have any problems, which I enjoyed. They just, you know, she was going through her things, he was going through his things, and they just kind of just melded together almost. And I just really liked that. And I loved the end where she finally went up to that guy David's house and she wanted to apologize to him and his whole family for what her brother did, and she wanted to feel some closure for that, which I thought also was awesome. And Layla, and I think the guy's name is Eric, I hope I'm right, they eventually got together. I knew that was going to happen, and I was excited because I was like, they still obviously like each other. So yeah, I think that's all the spoiler things I want to talk about. All the Say Anything, I love the name of the book. I didn't know what it was referencing, and then the whole pendant thing that Mac would wear and the whole family would wear, and then he found her one, and then the carousel on it. You're like, what the heck's that means? Because they found this old carousel in the woods. It was really, really good. I liked it. If you guys have read Say Anything, please let me know down in the comments what you think. Definitely pick up your copy because it was amazing. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh my goodness, I've been really wanting one of these a lot. Like, it's insane. It's one of the, like, book candles thing. I think it's from an Etsy shop.